This is what happened to you. The annihilatory stress response. There is a place inside you that was formed before you had words. It was not shaped by logic or thought or even memory. It was shaped by abandonment. This is called the annihilatory stress response. The infantile terror that happens when the caregiver fails to appear. When this terror hits, the baby cannot talk, cannot soothe, cannot reach. All it can do is freeze. In that frozen place, your true self was sealed, along with the image of the mother you needed but never had. Everything you would later call love began here. The anticipatory shadow reflex. You grew up, but your nervous system didn't forget. To survive in a world of emotional unpredictability, you developed a hypervigilant state, what we call the anticipatory shadow reflex. This reflex lives in adults who had no one to co regulate with. It watches the world constantly for signs of danger, withdrawal, or abandonment. When you met the narcissist, this reflex activated instantly. But you didn't feel fear, you felt electricity. You thought it was attraction. In truth, it was trauma resonance. The fantasy of reunion had begun. Libidinal flooding and the reanimation of the imago. In those early days, you felt more alive than you had in years, but it wasn't real. It was libidinal flooding, a surge of affective energy triggered by the narcissist's idealization. They weren't seeing you, they were projecting onto you, and you were doing the same. The image you had buried in your annihilatory stress response, the idealized mother imago, was reanimated, not remembered, not mourned, but revived. It felt like love. It was the return of a ghost, the false protector, and the formation of a new self. To stay in that fantasy, you had to become someone else. You couldn't risk rupture, not again. So you built a new self, one that could survive the gaze. We call this part the false protector. It is not the narcissist's false self, it is your own self editing structure. A narrator, a performer, a shield. It says, if I can stay perfect, they won't leave. But every time you edited yourself to keep the fantasy alive, you moved one step further from your truth and deeper into collapse. Hypocathexis and the withdrawal of libidinal energy. The narcissist began to devalue you, but the collapse had already started. You began to withdraw energy from yourself. This is called hypocathexis, a process where you stop investing emotional energy into your own inner world. You stopped defending your needs, stopped standing in your truth, and the fantasy already cracking now became a mirror gaze, a loop of performances. This is where the hall of mirror forms. You are no longer relating to them, you are relating to your reflection in their gaze. Collapse induced psychotic regression. Then came the moment of discard, or betrayal, or sudden emotional withdrawal. Whatever form it took, it shattered you. This is not ordinary grief. This is collapse induced psychotic regression. The psychic falling through the adult ego. You lose coherence. Time becomes non-linear. You cry like a child because you are one. The self you built to survive begins to melt. Not just pain, but disintegration. The original annihilatory stress response is reactivated, only now it's inside an adult's body. Inverse mirrored reflexive apathy. After the panic comes the apathy, but this isn't numbness, it's annihilation. We call this inverse mirrored reflexive apathy. It's a symbolic loop where you begin to hate yourself through their eyes. You repeat their words internally. You feel contempt for your own longing. You tell yourself it was all your fault. You're not just heartbroken, you are metabolizing your own symbolic death. This is the darkest place, and most survivors take a long, long time to get out of it, and some never do. Reintegration and the return of the true self. But if you stop, if you hold still long enough to feel what is truly yours, a thread can return. The reintegration phase is not a bounce back, it is a slow, painful reassembly. You meet the sealed child in your annihilatory stress response. You acknowledge the false protector and let them rest. You stop performing, and for the first time, you author yourself. This is not recovery. This is emergence. Peace out. Loads of love.